Hello everyone, welcome back to Coach Craig Sports. Today is Wednesday, March 3rd. We're going to be talking some NBA DFS picks today on both FanDuel and Draft Kings. But before we get into it, we're going to take a look at yesterday's picks, see how they turned out. So full disclosure, yesterday's picks weren't too pretty overall. A lot of misses, but a lot of near misses as well. So on the DraftKings side, we had John Morant, $7,000. Looking for 35 fantasy points out of him. He got to 58.75. He was a massive hit. So if you guys played him, definitely did very, very well. Desmond Bane, $3,400. Looking for 17 fantasy points out of him. He got to 16.5. So he was a miss, but he was a just miss at that. Then Justice Winslow, $3,900. Looking for about 19, 20 fantasy points out of him. Got to 17, so he was a miss as well. Probably one that didn't kill you overall, but still could have been better. Giannis, this was a big one. $11,000. Honestly, they just got blown out in this game, so he only ended up with 46 points, so he was definitely a miss. Montrezl Harrell, who I liked going into the day before Marc Gasol was out, he only played 19 minutes. I don't know what the heck happened with the Lakers. They're just like, we're not going to play Montrezl Harrell now. Doesn't make any sense to me, but $5,600. Looking for about 28 fantasy points out of him. He got to 12, so that was a big miss there. Then on the FanDuel side, Kemba Walker, $6,800. Looking for 34 points out of him. Got to 37.8, so he was definitely a hit. Desmond Bane, we kind of talked about him on the DraftKings side, but on the FanDuel side, we're looking for him to get to about 17.5, 18 points, get to 16.9, so he was a miss. Just kind of a just miss once again. Michael Porter, $6,300, looking for 31, 32 fantasy points out of him. Got to 25.4, so he was a miss. Got into a little bit of foul trouble, it looks like, against Giannis, and then that game ended up in a blowout towards the end. Nerlens Noel, $5,500, looking for 27.5 points out of him. He got to 26.4, so he was a miss, but just missed at that. Then last but not least, Jonas Valanciunas, $7,000, looking for 35 fantasy points out of him. Got to 32.7, so he was a miss, but he was also a just miss. So quite a few just misses, but still a lot of misses overall in the day. Some things that kind of were out of our control. So with that being said, we're going to take a look at today's injuries. So for the Pacers, we have Jeremy Lamb, who missed the last game, questionable once again. Doug McDermott left the last game. He's questionable as well. And then Domantas Sabonis is now a game-time decision too. So if all three of these guys end up missing, we're going to have some big value here as well. And Brogdon's going to look a lot stronger if that's the case. Then on Cleveland's side, pretty much the same as we've been looking at. Taurean Prince is the one that we're watching out for, see if he plays or not. If he does play, if he's in the starting lineup, he's a guy you can definitely put in some GPP lines. Then Utah's exactly the same as they've been. 76ers, we're just looking at Tobias Harris. Will he play or not? And then if he doesn't play, who ends up in his starting spot? Then we move over to the Detroit Pistons. Pretty much the same as the last time out. And Jeremy Grant is also a game-time decision. If he doesn't play, should be some more value opening up there. Whether they move Sadiq Bey to the 4, whether they start Sekou again, or some other lineup that we don't even know about yet. And then on the Raptors side, this is going to be one of the biggest value spots of the day. You see OG Anunoby's out, Pascal Siakam's out, Fred VanVleet's out. So that's 3 starters right there. So Kyle Lowry, Norman Powell, Chris Boucher, they're all going to have tremendous value today. And then you're going to have some other guys filling in like DeAndre Bembry, Stanley Johnson, maybe even Watanabe. A lot of different guys that could have some value, especially on the DraftKings side today. Then for Brooklyn, we have Kevin Durant out, Jeff Green out, and TLC out once again. So pretty much the same lineup as the last time out. DeAndre Jordan's kind of interesting in this game, but if Houston plays small ball, then he could kind of be worked out of the picture as well. Then for the Rockets side, we have Christian Wood still out, David Nwaba's out in this one. Kuras, I honestly, I don't know how to say his name properly, so he's out as well. Dante Exum's been out for a while. Eric Gordon and Danielle House are both game-time decisions. We'll see if they end up playing. Right now, I do have House out in my projections that I've been doing, so I think it makes Jayshawn Tate look a lot stronger. But if House ends up playing, then Tate and Sterling Brown take a little bit of a knockdown. But if he doesn't play, if Eric Gordon doesn't play, Sterling Brown, Jayshawn Tate, 2 guys that you want to take a look out for today. Then the Chicago Bulls, pretty much the same as they've been, except Luke Cornett is out as well now. Pelicans 100% healthy, so no worries there. Then we move down to Charlotte. Looks like Gordon Hayward is leaning towards probable today. Devontae Graham's still out. Cody Zeller is a game-time decision. We'll see if he plays or not. Then for the Timberwolves, exactly the same as they've been lately. Then the Atlanta Hawks, Kevin Huerter's probable once again. Clint Capella is a game-time decision. If he doesn't play, we'll see who starts at that 5 spot. It'd be very interesting there. Then for the Atlanta Magic, pretty much the same as we've been looking at. Evan Fournier is having some of his back issues again, so he's a game-time decision. If he doesn't play, I like Terrence Ross a lot today. And then for Oklahoma City, pretty much the same as we've been looking at the last couple games out. Then for the Mavericks, Luka Doncic looks like he's more on the doubtful side right now. Willie Cauley-Stein is also a game-time decision. If Luka misses, Jalen Brunson is definitely someone to consider on both sides. Then for the Warriors, we're just looking at Kelly Oubre. He's a game-time decision now. We'll see if he plays or not. Portland's exactly the same as they've been. The Lakers are another big value spot. Marc Gasol missed last night because of health and safety protocol. I don't think he plays in this one. They do have him in for right now, so we'll see what ends up happening with that. They have Kyle Kuzma in. If he does play, I kind of like him a little bit. But if he doesn't play, you have guys like Wesley Matthews, Horton Tucker, that could definitely be a major factor in today's game. Then on the Kings side, we're looking at Jabari Parker, Buddy Hield, if they play or not. Halliburton, Whiteside are both still out. They do have Woodard down there now as well. Last time I checked, he was in the G League, so maybe he's kind of been called back up to kind of fill his spot, but still out for health and safety protocols, I would guess. But pretty much that's it for today's injuries. A lot of different news that will be coming out throughout the day. I'll try to be on top of that as much as possible to help you guys out. Then we'll get moved over to DraftKings, talk about my picks. So at point guard, we got Dennis Schroeder. $5,900, looking for about 30 fantasy points out of him. Averaging 27 on the season, but there's no Anthony Davis. There's no LeBron James. There might not be Kyle Kuzma in this game. It's going to be the Dennis Schroeder show. And unless they get blown out and he's not on the court, he's going to have a monster game. We've seen him have big games in the past, whether it was with OKC or Atlanta, so it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. Then for the shooting guard position, we got Sterling Brown, $4,100, looking for about 21 fantasy points out of him. No David Nwaba, so that definitely boosts him up right away. Then if you don't have Eric Gordon, if you don't have Daniel House, he's going to look a lot better in this game. And there's a good chance they get blown out because that keeps happening to the Rockets for whatever reason. And Brooklyn's actually good at basketball, at least on the offensive end. So he's probably going to get a lot of that blowout run as well, just because they don't have that many bodies overall. And then at the small forward position, we got Norman Powell. Seen him put up some pretty big games this year. And $6,700, not a light price tag by any means. You're looking for 34 fantasy points out of him. He's a guy that's going to get almost as many shots as he wants today. And against Detroit, I think it's a very good matchup as well. But like I said, all those guys are missing for the Raptors. So he's going to be on the court playing big minutes. He's going to be taking shots. And he's shown us this year that he can score over 40 points when given the chance. Then at power forward, we're going to go back to Markieff Morris. $3,700, looking for about 19 fantasy points out of him. I think he had over 24 last night. Playing big minutes with all these Laker guys out. So definitely someone you want to consider. Definitely in play for today. And goes against that pretty easy Kings matchup as well. Then at the center position, we got Chris Boucher. If you guys have been watching my channel, I'm not a big Chris Boucher guy. But in a matchup like this, where he's got to be on the court and where he's going to get the opportunity to score, $6,400, looking for 32 points out of him. Definitely someone to consider for today. And then if you go with these 5 guys on DraftKings, you'll have $23,200 left over. Just over $7,700 per player. So definitely some room to spend up for some guys, spend down for some guys. There's going to be a ton of value out on today's slate. But with that being said, we're going to get moved over to the FanDuel side, talk about my picks over there as well. So at point guard, we got Dennis Schroeder once again. Just too good a value play not to play today. $5,500, looking for 28 points out of him. I think he gets over 30 pretty easily in this one. So definitely can't go wrong by playing him. Should be a very popular, very chalky play. So if you are in big GPPs, maybe you go with some of the other Lakers value and then pivot to a different point guard. It's definitely an option. Then at shooting guard, we got Talen Horton Tucker. $3,900, looking for 19-20 fantasy points out of him. Probably going to play big minutes in this game. And, he's a pretty good fantasy point per minute producer. So I think in a good matchup, in a game that he's going to get a ton of minutes, even if they get blown out, which could happen, he's still going to get minutes. So he's definitely a guy that I do like today. Then at small forward, we got Harrison Barnes, $6,800, looking for 34 fantasy points out of him. He's been playing very well lately. They really haven't been playing that many guys since some of these injuries came about. So he's definitely a guy that's going to get big minutes. Good matchup for him overall. Definitely should pay off for his price tag. Then we move over to power forward. I got Jayshawn Tate. And like I said, I don't think Daniel House is going to play in this game. Jayshawn Tate, $4,900. I think both teams have a chance to go small ball in this game, so it should give him more minutes as well. Definitely a guy, when you're looking for 25 fantasy points, I think that's something that's definitely attainable in a game like today. Then last but not least at center, this one may be a little bit interesting, but Steven Adams actually graded out as one of my best center plays for today. $5,100, pretty cheap price tag. Looking for about 26 fantasy points out of him. He's averaging just over 25 on the season. Goes against a Bulls matchup that's going to be very, very favorable for him. So I would not be surprised if he gets a decent amount of rebounds in this game, a decent amount of blocks, and even a couple of putbacks here and there. So definitely a guy that you can pay down for on a day like today and find value elsewhere. But if you go with these 5 guys over on FanDuel for today, you'll have $33,800 left over. Just over $8,400 per player. That's a ton of money to spend up on a day like today. There's going to be even more value coming out. This is definitely going to be a stars and scrubs type of day for NBA DFS. And if you guys have any questions about that, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Definitely here to help you guys out as well. But with that being said, these are my picks for both FanDuel and DraftKings for today, March 3rd. And as always, I'll be listing all the different news, all the different starting lineups as they come out throughout the day. So you'll definitely want to be sure to check out the comments down below throughout the day as the news comes out. Definitely the biggest source of information you're going to need on a day like today. And with that being said, if you guys are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. It really helps build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports. And that's really one for you, the viewers, helping you guys with your DFS, whether it's NBA or NFL, helping you guys with your fantasy football teams, covering all the different football news this offseason. And then as we head forward into baseball season, going to be talking some fantasy baseball and some baseball news as well. So if you guys are into any of those things that I just listed below, and I'm assuming you're into NBA DFS since you're watching this video, definitely want to make sure you're subscribed. And then also, if you are a new or current subscriber and you haven't done so already, please hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I put out a new video. Like I said, I do daily NBA DFS videos. We're going to have the All-Star break coming up here in a couple days too, so that's a little bit of a break there. Going to pump out some different fantasy football content during that time as well. But with that being said, that's pretty much all I got for today's video. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed. Hopefully you all do very, very well in NBA DFS tonight. Should definitely be an interesting night. And then last but not least, I'd like to take a moment just to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. Definitely appreciate it. Definitely means a lot to me. I want to thank you guys for the support that you have given me so far doing the NBA DFS videos and for the lifetime of my YouTube channel. And with that being said, I want to wish each and every one of you a great, great rest of your day.